So just let me know. It's not set. Okay. So now we have Kailash from Zerodha who will be talking about FOSS at Zerodha. So over to you, Kailash.
Thanks, Vivek. I'm not exactly talking about faucet Zerodha. So the other day I was sorry. The title of this session is I forgot. Interacting with FOSS projects, general etiquette. So the other day I was writing contribution.md, notes on how to contribute to a FOSS project for this project that I maintain, FOSS project that I maintain. It's called ListMonk. So, wrote a bunch of bullet points around the etiquette for asking questions, reporting bugs, asking for uh, feature requests, posting feature requests, and sending pull requests. So I figured there are some points there that are worth talking about. So I'm just going to quickly, cover them here. And sorry, one second. And yeah, all the points are described in that contribution file on ListMonk. So if you want to check it out, it's all there. So yeah, about participation in FOSS communities and FOSS projects. Participation can be as simple as asking a question on a project's GitHub issue. I guess that is the most common form of participation. It could be reporting a bug. It could be uh, asking for a feature, asking for changes. And finally, really the crux of it, and probably at the other end of the spectrum, is understanding a project well enough to contribute code, contributing code back to a FOSS project. So this happens 24/7 across projects, cultures, countries, contexts, projects, all sorts of projects. But there's certain general etiquette, if followed, and I believe that they should be followed, can help interactions better and actually make these interactions valuable. Asking a question itself can turn into a contribution. So something as simple as reporting a bug. What I've seen is, I'm pulling this, this is a made up number, but it's a 70% of all bug reports that come into, that show up on GitHub issues are not exactly bugs. The user encounters a certain problem, it could be a trivial problem, but they don't invest the time and effort to actually establish if it's a bug. They don't investigate, and they just dump that on the project GitHub page, expecting someone to do that, homework for them, troubleshoot their issue. But the issue with this, and generally these tend to be one-liners. To give you an example, uh, I'm unable to install the project, or this feature doesn't work. Just one-liners, or I click that button, nothing happened. But then the FOSS developers, maintainers, have to come back and ask, what operating system are you using? What version of the program are you using? What exactly did you do to produce this behavior that you're expecting? Did you click on A, B, C, D and expect X, but you ended up with Y? And on and on. The discussion goes on. In the end, FOSS maintainers generally end up wasting a lot of time trying to understand what the user was trying to report in the first place. So if we put some effort into reporting issues, uh, that can save everyone a lot of time. When I say effort, it's as simple as making sure, doing some homework to make sure that what you're trying to report is really a bug. Just because something doesn't work like you expect it to work does not mean it's a bug. Maybe there's a reason for something to work that way. The first thing you do is you go search GitHub issues or forum comments or whatever the FOSS project has to make sure that others have not already described, and this so certain issue that you're trying to report has already not been discussed and closed. Just by doing that, I think that a significant 2-digit percent of all bug reports can be eliminated, because most often whatever seems trivial has already been discussed. So that should definitely be done. Secondly, when you're describing a problem, it should be descriptive. Describe what version of the software of the said piece of FOSS you're using, what operating system, what environment, what exactly did you do to encounter this, bug-like behavior. I clicked on A, B, C, D. I I expected X to happen, but Y happened. I think X is what should happen. You describe, you add those 4, 5 lines, suddenly it saved everyone lots of time and, eliminated lot of back and forth. So it's just that, put some effort into bug reports. And discovering and reporting actual bugs are hugely valuable to projects. Second would be feature suggestions. And I'd say the messages that get posted on FOSS boards, there are way more requests for changes and feature suggestions than bug reports. You download a piece of software, could be, let's say, a blogging platform. You use it. You think that, if X was slightly different, maybe the button, there's a certain button to create a new blog post. If it was on the top nav bar, it would have been simpler. And maybe it would have been simpler. So it's so easy to open a message saying, why don't you move this button to the top nav bar? But that lacks context. Such one-liner suggestions completely lack context. And as I said earlier, there could be several reasons as to why a certain design or whatever technical decision has been taken in a project. And someone who's just started using the projects, they will not really have all the context that maintainers have, historical context of discussions, technical decisions, design decisions. So before you ask for a change or ask for a feature, make sure you've searched the available commentary, GitHub issues forum, whatever, and make sure that it has not already been discussed and closed. And positive that most often you'll find that it's already been discussed for, at least in the case of popular projects. And when you do decide to post a feature request, again, be descriptive, just like, the bug report. Describe the problem that you're trying to solve. Don't just say, add this button on the top right side. Say, solving problem X in the current UI is slow. It involves XYZ steps. If the button, if it was to be moved to the top navbar, it can eliminate 6 clicks and make creating blog posts easier. Something like that. Just describe the problem, describe the solution that you the solution as you envision it. Describe it in really, simple bullet points. If possible, attach, screenshots or mockups, in case of UIs, for example. And of course, with bug reports also, if you're able to attach screenshots that show the bug-like behavior, please do. And again, this will save everyone involved a lot of time. And when it comes to feature suggestions, again, something that I've seen across projects is, there's this sense of entitlement that, users have. Even with bug report, there's an issue, fix it immediately. Or, there's this really cool feature that I'd like to see in the project. It has to be done immediately. But like I said, users generally do not have as much context of a project as the maintainers have. So you should be self-aware of the entitlement, sense of entitlement that you may display on a project's forum by openly demanding for things. So post your bug reports and feature suggestions, properly, descriptively, and let the maintainers understand it, handle it, and let it be a constructive decision. And finally, the most important thing, if you decide to contribute code or something equivalent to a project, you should always post a proposal first, so that the maintainers can understand it and check feasibility. There could be a trivial looking feature that may impact several past decisions, which may not be apparent to a new contributor. So always post a proposal describing what you intend to do, how you intend to do it, what feature or bug fix you intend to do, and get into a discussion, get the FOSS project maintainers approval, saying, this looks good, this is the right way to do it, please submit a PR. And then PR is a pull request on GitHub where you send a code contribution. And then send your contribution. If you just dump a large code contribution, feature branch or whatever on a project, it is really difficult for the maintainers to understand what is going on, or what is being, what all have been compromised, and what exactly it is even doing in the first place. And there are other, lots of other nuances and considerations. Different projects have different style guidelines, differences in code quality. There are, the same, there could be 10 different JavaScript projects, and all of them have 10 different ways of writing code. So PR, when you send code contribution, it has to conform to the project's guidelines. So for all of that to be accounted for, you should always open a proposal and not just dump a big, code contribution thing and expect maintainers to merge it, because it's really difficult. And any large PR, so again, pull request could just have unforeseen consequences. Finally, I guess the underlying principle here, the underlying theme here is about transparency and respect, mutual respect, really. If you go demand for things on a project, or if you just dump some code on a project and expect maintainers to quickly review it and accept it, I don't think that's right, because FOSS developers, especially projects that are given out to the world for free, free of cost, which is really pretty much almost all of FOSS projects, they don't really owe, FOSS maintainers don't really owe their users anything. So that sense of entitlement that users have, saying they deserve this fix, they deserve these new features, they deserve quick and timely responses from, FOSS maintainers, they deserve all the time and attention that a project's maintainer has, I think is delusional. And only common sense, critical thinking, and self-awareness can help users realize. So even the language that you use on when communicating with FOSS communities should be, simple and neutral, and not be snarky. For example, oh, this project does not have a Docker file, so it's not good. Stuff like that is not constructive at all. So when you post messages, even if it's just a line, if it's just a bug report, make sure you do your homework to save project maintainers a lot of time, and you keep your language nice and courteous and respectful for that, so that everybody in the community can participate, and it doesn't really waste anyone's time, or waste anyone's mental energy in dealing with negativity, because there are people investing time and effort in building software and giving it out to the world for free. So that's it. That's all. That's what I wanted to talk about. Just general etiquette when communicating with FOSS maintainers and participating in FOSS project communities. Yeah, that's it. Thanks.
Yeah. Thanks, Kailash, for the talk.
Sure.
And then we may end the session